Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Another dumpster dive last night. Another cluster thing. I think it's a waste of time. Waste of time. With 7 candidates on the stage and the idiots conducting the inquiry, the inquisition of these candidates, and all candidates talking at the same time, yelling each other, not allowing anybody to answer, especially Vivek. Let him answer the question, would you please? Tim Scott talked over him the whole time. The whole time. And then DeSantis gets in on the fun. And then Nikki Haley's got some kind of enmity for him that is interesting.
There's some controversy from last night. You were the one tweeting. I would like to point out.
I was the one tweeting.
Because, you know, everybody's pointing fingers at me and Chris. That's not happening.
No.
Okay.
I was tweeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Pat is using $5 words, that's how you know Pat is tweeting. Because you were tweeting some words that I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Okay.
But, I mean, everything about that debate was bad.
Yes.
The lighting, I swear, it looked like they were doing the debate at a city morgue.
Yeah.
The audio was just horrific, and that's when the sound guy decided it was time to pot up the sound.
Right.
I mean, he butchered the Reagan clip. He didn't turn on microphones when it was time to play for people to speak. Stuart Varney, God bless him. I know we don't have the opening clip there, but where he screws up the Univision chick's name. I mean, from the moment it started, it was
a nightmare.
Right. Going forward, can we
stop with the communists at a Republican debate? How about that? I mean, she wants to hear about what are you going to do for every special interest group?
Right.
From Latinos to lesbians, gays, bisexual, transgender, questioning, queer.
Go moderate the Democrat debate later.
Right. Right. We don't need that at the Republican debate. What am I going to do for I'm going to do the same thing for Latinos and the rest of them that I'm going to do for everybody else. Okay? No special favors for your special groups. How about that? What are you doing here at a Republican debate that you don't understand that, Puddin'?
And before you do that next debate, lady, check in with Rosetta Stone. Just saying.
Right?
I mean, that was impossible.
This is an actual...
Oh, look, your tweets are up there.
Yeah, there's my tweet.
Cluster, you know what. I had a very similar tweet to that, although I didn't govern myself.
Oh.
Like that.
Oh, okay.
Boy, it was just so bad. It was so bad.
It was despicable. And I would have loved to have heard Vivek's explanation on the China thing. Right. Let him explain it, because it's important. I want to know what the deal is. I want to know if I need to disqualify him. But they wouldn't let him talk. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
How did Tim Scott get the first question?
I don't know.
And it was about the auto strike. How is it that the front runner on the stage last night didn't get a question until 15 minutes in?
Yes.
And Tim Scott had 2 responses before DeSantis had 1. I mean,
I think Burgum had responses before DeSantis had any.
I think everybody did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a mess.
And I don't know. Nikki Haley supposedly, according to the Drudge Report, won the debate. Okay. I do not.
That's who the GOP
like
wants.
her. I don't like her.
Yep.
She's a warmonger.
Oh, definitely.
She's a war pig for sure. And for that matter, so is Tim Scott.
I know.
For that matter, so is Mike Pence.
Chris Christie.
There we go. The Warhawks are flying high again tonight. Pence, Haley, and Scott are still living in the intervention era. Yeah. I wanted to say something a little stronger than that, but
did you?
Yeah, but I moderated.
Okay.
Yeah, I moderated.
Okay.
So.
Nikki Haley's, with every debate, becomes
they like her, though.
More and more insufferable. Of course they like her.
Man, she has some kind of hatred for Vivek, doesn't she? She was hurling personal insults at him. Like, every time I hear you, I feel more stupid.
Oh, do we have that clip? We got that clip? Do we have that? The Nikki Haley?
Oh, yeah.
Attacking,
let's see. On how healthcare should
I don't know what we have here.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Well, here they are fighting. Here's Vivek and Nikki fighting over TikTok.
Oh, okay. By the way, before you play this, though, while you're looking for that, Joe, I thought it was so ironic. Speaking of TikTok, we've got candidates up there saying we should ban TikTok and bad-mouthing TikTok.
Yeah.
This debate brought to you by TikTok. I posted a picture. I had a split screen.
I thought that was
TikTok.
Pretty amazing, too.
This whole thing. I mean, and by the way, the way that they continue to slash the rates to advertise during the debate, the way Fox Business continually, it was reported as it led up to the debate, they kept saying, okay, would you advertise on us for this amount? Anyway, okay, thank you. We've got that clip here. But you would think that they would just say, okay, TikTok's on board, y'all. Pull that question. I mean, this thing was so bad, but let's see this clip.
There's exactly one person in the Republican Party which talks a big game about reaching young people, and that's me. And let me level with all of you. I'm the new guy here, and so I know I have to earn your trust. What do you see? You see a young man who's in a bit of a hurry, maybe a little ambitious, bit of a know-it-all, it seems at times. I'm here to tell you, no, I don't know it all. I will listen. I will have the best people, the best and brightest in this country, whatever age they are, advising me. We will be probably many of the people on this stage included. That's how I built my companies. I want to be challenged. I want people who disagree with me. That's what makes America great, because we're not a perfect nation. We're founded on the pursuit of perfection. That is what makes America great. And that is why we will end it once we win this election.
I have to jump. I have to jump in here. I'm sorry. Was speaking. There's one person on this.
This is infuriating because TikTok is one of the most dangerous social media apps that we could have. And what you've got, I honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say, because I can't believe that here that we've got a TikTok situation. What they're doing is these 150 million people are on TikTok. That means they can get your contacts, they can get your financial information, they can get your emails, they can get text messages, they can get all of these things.
This is very important for our party.
Exactly what they're doing.
This is very important for our party, and I'm going to say
you've gone and you've helped China make medicines in China, not America. You're now wanting kids to go and get on the social media that's dangerous for all of us. You were in business with the Chinese that gave Hunter Biden $5 million. We can't trust you. We can't trust you. We can't have TikTok in our kids' lives.
This is very important.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 15 seconds.
I think, excuse me.
I am sick and tired of people who say that if you debate and you disagree with this administration, somehow you're not patriotic, and we should stand up and say we have a right to debate and disagree.
Following Reagan's 11th and the answer is that is what actually makes our country strong. And I believe in these people.
Okay, that is crazy.
2 hours of that nonsense last night.
Yeah, it was tough to take.
Everybody
really
that listens to this show had that same experience last night. You and I were on the same wavelength, because I was just about to get into your ear and say, this is one octave from Hillary Clinton.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She is right on the cusp.
Terrible. God, and the talking over each other. How do you not stop and listen to somebody and then pick it up? I know their time is limited, and that's part of the problem, is that they keep inviting 7 or 8 people to these things. Of course, Fox is done now, so who knows? And I guess the next standards will be a little bit tougher to meet.
Do you know what network? I don't know.
I don't.
Okay. Honestly, though, I'm watching that debate last night, and I'm thinking, are these candidates all this bad, or are they just a reflection of the devolution of this nation?
Yeah.
I mean, they are just a representative of where we are as a nation. Mm-hmm. It was bad, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. And it's a shame, because I really want to hear them. I really want to know where they stand on issues. And I'd really love for Donald Trump to be part of it, because I'd like him to answer these questions as well. But he's not going to, apparently. Maybe the next one? I don't know. Has he already sworn it off?
I don't know. But can we play the Chris Christie? Boy, he thought he had a great line.
He sure did.
Yes, he did.
He sure did.
I think this is clip 5, Joe. Boy, he practiced this one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Governor Christie, I believe I did see you write something on the card. Who was it?
No, but I'll certainly tell you.
Go.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I think I've been the only one on this stage who's been clear about this. I vote Donald Trump off the island right now. And the reason I vote him off the island...
You will vote any of the people on the stage.
No, because you know what? Every person on this stage has shown the respect for Republican voters to come here, to express their views honestly, candidly, and directly, and to take your questions honestly. I have respect for every man and woman on this stage because they've done it.
No,
put your hand down for a second, would you? I still got time, dude. So chill out. Here, look. This guy has not only divided our party, he's divided families all over this country. He's divided friends all over this country. Okay. I've spoken to people, and I know everyone else has, who have sat at Thanksgiving dinner or at a birthday party and can't have a conversation anymore if they disagree with Donald Trump.
How big's that bill?
Voted off the island, and he needs to be taken
I hope he didn't sit on them because, of course, those people wouldn't be with us anymore.
Yeah, and that, I mean, okay, so he rehearsed that line, but that's not the line I'm talking about. Here's the next one.
Yeah.
And I want to look at that camera right now and tell you, Donald, I know you're watching. You can't help yourself. I know you're watching, okay? And you're not here tonight, not because of polls and not because of your indictments. You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on the stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
Get it?
He was so proud.
Yeah, he was.
He's got the long stare into the camera.
We're going to call you Donald Duck.
You get it?
Ooh, okay. All right.
So freaking bad.
Oh, man.
Oh. By the way,
wonder how long it took them, he and his team, to come up with that brilliant line.
Yeah.
Weeks.
I wonder if I would throw my staffer under the bus, actually.
Yeah.
If they gave me that. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, why is Chris Christie still here? You know, I see on this list, and I just want to mention this since we don't have the clip. Doug Burgum's answer about the auto strike was spot on. And by the way, congratulations, Doug Burgum-Mentum with the Burgum brows. I'm going to start calling them. His answer, whenever he says states' rights, man, I mean, that's when I sit up. I'm like, well, wait, we have a candidate talking about the state?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to the federal government? Anyway.
He mentioned that a couple times.
Yeah, his UAW. No one's talking about this enough. It's the stupid forcing the EV cars down our throats that is messing up Detroit. Right now. I mean, there's plenty of things messing up Detroit. But that is the issue. And I don't know. I don't know which Pete Buttigieg clip I sent in. It was so long ago. I was younger then. But yesterday he gave an interview on CNN, and he kept throwing Biden inadvertently under the bus and saying, you know, yeah, we have a problem on the border, you know, and yes, there's a problem with the auto strike. But he was talking about how these EV cars, they're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to go down this path. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then the companies that are forced to do that are the big three. And then the next thing you know, it becomes a labor situation.
I didn't realize that it takes less laborers to make the EVs than it does the combustion engine cars. Did you pay attention? Did you hear him say that?
I don't.
And it's a lot. It's a lot fewer. I think he said 1/3 or something of the workers involved. I didn't realize that. That's amazing.
I am looking. Somebody sent me what it takes to build an EV battery.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. I don't understand. In other words, it's not only just the labor issue that's being affected and the cost issue.
Rare minerals.
It's the environment. How is the left? The left is so intellectually dishonest. It's impossible to have a conversation with them. But somebody sent me this from a National Review article. A typical EV battery weighs 1,000 pounds. It contains 25 pounds of lithium, 60 pounds of nickel, 44 pounds of manganese, 30 pounds of cobalt, 200 pounds of copper, and 400 pounds of aluminum, steel, and plastic. Inside are over 6,000 individual lithium cells. It should concern you that all those toxic components come from mining. For instance, to manufacture, and we've talked about this, each EV auto battery, you must process 25,000 pounds of brine for lithium, 30,000 pounds of ore for the cobalt, 5,000 pounds of ore for the nickel, and 25,000 pounds of ore for copper. All told,
seems like a lot.
You dig up 500,000 pounds of the Earth's crust for just one battery. Now, I know we've drifted from the labor discussion there.
That can't be.
And Doug Burgum.
That can't be true.
But what in the hell? I mean,
wow.
Drive with pride.
Wow. Oh, that's That's nuts.
It's insanity.
That's nuts. And you're worried about the planet?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sure you are.
All right. Let me take a minute to tell you about Patriot Mobile. For 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And when I say only, I mean the only one. Glenn and the team have been great supporters of this show. One of the reasons why we're proud to partner with them. They do a lot of great things. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage. You don't have to give up the quality in order to align yourself with your values and align the company that you frequent and the business that you give to these companies with your values. So you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message that you support free speech, religious freedom, sanctity of life, the Second Amendment, our military. And they have 100% U.S.-based customer service, which makes switching really easy. And you can keep your number if you want to. You can keep your phone, or you could trade both. Whatever you want to do, they can accommodate you. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Pat or call 972-PATRIOT. You get free activation when you use the offer code PAT. Join me. Make the switch today. patriotmobile.com/Pat or 972-PATRIOT.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
All right, let's just go down the list here so that it's not confusing. Let's start with Chris Christie on if America is focused too much on Ukraine. Wonder what he has to say about that.
On Ukraine and not enough on this threat from the New World Order.
No, they're all connected, Stuart.
Yeah.
They're all connected.
They're all connected.
The Chinese are paying for the Russian war in Ukraine. The Iranians are supplying more sophisticated weapons, and so are the North Koreans now as well, with the encouragement of the Chinese. The naivete on this stage from some of these folks is extraordinary. Look, I understand people want to go and talk to Putin. Guess what? So did George W. Bush. So did Barack Obama.
What?
So did Donald Trump. And so did Joe Biden when he said a small invasion wouldn't be so bad. Every one of them has been wrong. And the fact of the matter is, we need to say right now that the Chinese-Russian alliance is something we have to fight against, and we are not going to solve it by going over and cuddling up to Vladimir Putin. Look, Donald Trump said Vladimir Putin was brilliant and a great leader. This is the person who is murdering people in his own country, and now not having enough blood, he's now going to Ukraine to murder innocent civilians and kidnap 20,000 children. And let me tell you, if you think that's where it's going to stop, if we give him any of Ukraine, next will be Poland. Right. This is a guy who said, this is a guy in 1991 who said that was the darkest moment in world history when the Soviet Union fell. Listen, everybody, he wants to put the old band back together, and only America can stop it. Right. And when I'm president, we will.
That's why you're not going to be president, my friend.
The 1980s called.
Yeah. They want their warmongering back. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Unbelievable. I mean, that is unbelievable. These guys are still stuck in, we need to be the police of the world. I'm sorry. I'm done with that.
Yep.
I don't think we're alone on that either. I think many conservatives are like, okay, we've had enough of this. Enough. This never-ending war situation and the bottomless checking account that we've opened up for Ukraine has to stop. We can't afford it. We can't afford to compromise our military, and we don't have the money to keep pumping billions a week into their situation. We just don't. We can't protect everybody on this planet. We can't. And this is not what our founders envisioned for us. They envisioned us staying out of Europe's conflicts. They said it a million times. Stay out of things. Mind your own business. Somebody attacks us? Yes. Okay, that's a different situation. We'll take care of that. But when it's, one European nation against another, let them battle it out. Man, and this threat that you think they're going to stop there. Well, I don't know. Do you have a crystal ball? Do you know for a fact that Poland is, because they're not. They're not. We have a NATO arrangement, and I don't believe I really don't believe Putin will go into Poland when we're duty bound to do something about that through the NATO treaty. So I don't know. If you buy into their fear mongering, I guess maybe you think this is the right thing to do. We'll just keep pumping endless amounts of money into this. We'll just keep getting deeper and deeper into it with our weapons and advisors and eventually troops. Because that's what he's talking about. Eventually, Ukraine can't hold out forever. They've done an amazing job, thanks to us, up until now. But that's not going to last forever.
Just imagine if they had used all of what we've sent them for the war effort.
Right.
Sniff,
right.
sniff.
Rather than fabric shops.
But dogs, search dogs. They search.
Oh, yeah, right.
And the seeds.
Yes.
For farms and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And the metal detectors in the river.
Yeah. And then the government pensions.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And the salaries of 57,000 first responders. What do you not want first responders for Ukrainians?
Wow, so you love Putin.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, gosh. Are you sure you want to do all these clips from this?
It's going to be hard.
Debate?
We could spend the whole show on this probably.
There's so many here. Can I just point out that Mike Pence, he thinks everything he has to say
is so profound. Yo, yeah.
He could say...
He stops and it's like, wow.
Right. And
that
by the
was
way,
really good what I just said there.
I don't need to
notice?
know about your sex life either, Mike Pence.
Yeah, I don't care who.
I've been sleeping with a teacher for 30 years.
Yeah, congratulations.
Please
clap.
I
think it was 38. I think it was, wasn't it?
Whatever. Who cares? 38. Okay, fine, whatever. Got it. But I swear, I mean, everything by the way, his breathing, he is starting to sound more and more like Darth Vader. Have you noticed? Because you hear him. Like if give me a question here. Do you want coffee? Right? He'll be like, I'll tell you.
Because it's so dramatic.
I would like black coffee. Precisely.
I am your father.
And I want coffee.
Yeah. You gotta love it. You gotta love these old-timey Republicans who just haven't changed their opinion on anything. He also talked about his pro-life standards, the standards on being pro-life.
Oh, Chris Christie?
Chris Christie.
Oh, okay.
Let's hear it.
I was the governor here of the only blue state that's represented up here. This is where the fight is really tough for Republicans, and those are the states that we're going to have to try to win if we're going to win the White House back. And what we did was 14 times, Dana, in 8 years, I vetoed Planned Parenthood funding. 14 times. No one else gets it that much. The Democrats just kept sending it to me, and I kept saying no because I believe in life, but I also believe in states' rights. And I think we fought hard against Roe versus Wade for decades to say that states should make these decisions. So we're going to have those fights in the states. But what you need is a leader who can talk to people and make them understand that if you're pro-life, you have to be pro-life for the entire life, not just the 9 months in the womb. And we talked a lot about fentanyl tonight, and we haven't spoken one moment about treatment. But we need to make sure that for the drug-addicted 16-year-old on the floor of the county lockup, her life is precious too. And we need to be providing treatment to cure this as a disease that it is. If you're pro-life, you got to be pro-life for the entire life. We start talking like that, they're going to do what I did in the blue state, which was get reelected with 61% of the vote and won 70% of independents and 51% of Latinos because I told them the truth from my heart.
Oh, from my heart, yeah. What was your approval rating when you left office, big guy?
Yeah, wasn't it like 20%?
Oh, gosh, it was lower than that.
Lower than that?
Yeah. No one likes you, Chris. Go away. Just please go away.
It's amazing to me that he thinks he has a chance to win. Or he can't be angling for vice president because nobody would select him for that. No one. Certainly not Trump. Trump can't stand him now. So 15% when he left office?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Worst rating any governor in any state has ever had in
Ever?
more than 20 years
of
polling from this one outfit.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Why didn't they bring that up to wonderful Chris, who's got so much experience? He's the only one that's done any of this. Well, he and Pence. They're the ones who are job ready day one. So that's great. All right, let's skip down to, I've had enough of Chris Christie.
Thank you.
Skip down to Ron DeSantis on decoupling from the CCP.
Oh, okay.
The first DeSantis.
About 9 or so down.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Starts with DeSantis.
Wait, how are you supposed to? How's he going to find that clip?
Decoupling.
Sweet Lord. Like the 7th clip. I literally just counted it.
Okay. Clip 7.
Okay.
You say companies like Google and Meta have too much power. Doesn't going after them give China an edge?
No, I think you look at how our societies develop. They have huge amount of power over our society. They've cracked down on free speech. We're not saying you don't want them to do business, but you want it to be a free market. And right now they're monopolies. But this issue of China, I think, is really going to be fundamental. We have subcontracted out so much of our national needs to the CCP.
Right.
We rely on
That's
them for
right.
a whole host of issues. We need to reshore and we need to decouple all those important industries. We need to get that back in the United States. They are our top geopolitical adversary by a country mile. Xi Jinping's got huge ambitions, not only in the Asia Pacific, but as you mentioned earlier, in our region. But ultimately, we've got to beat him on the economy. And so that's what we'll do as President of the United States.
Nikki Haley did make one point that I wasn't aware of that I thought was a really good one, and that's the fact that in Tennessee, I think it was, either Tennessee or Kentucky, there's an amoxicillin plant, and we produce amoxicillin, but the Biden administration only goes through China for the amoxicillin.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute. Why is that happening? You know, she's right about that. That has to stop. If we're making antibiotics in America, then let's use them. I don't know. Is the amoxicillin so much cheaper in China that they don't deal with the American product? It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. I don't know why that would happen unless it's a price situation. So I don't know that anybody can decouple us from China. I don't know if any of them can. And I'm not sure I believe that they will really make the effort to. I hope so. I want to believe them. But man, we've heard this kind of rhetoric before, and nothing's ever been done. And it's going to get really critical if somebody doesn't get serious about the Chinese situation. Because eventually, they are going to, and we talk about it on the ad all the time with the Jace case, they are eventually going to cut us off from our medicinal supply. Then what? We got to start preparing for that right now. We need to start manufacturing our own pharmaceuticals. It's crazy not to. It's just absolutely nuts. It's national suicide. But that's what the Biden administration is all about. National suicide. They got into the workers and the strike a little bit. Here's, Mike Pence on the striking workers. A couple of cuts down from DeSantis here. This would be
12 or so.
Yeah, 11 maybe? I think it's 11.
Last week you said you side with American workers, but you also support how these companies operate. Which is it?
Well, thank you for the question. I want to thank Univision and Fox Business for assembling such a wonderful forum.
Oh, here we go.
Look, I do disagree with something Tim Scott just said. Joe Biden doesn't belong on a picket line. He belongs on the unemployment line.
Oh, another good
another nice line. I like that
I'm
one,
from the second leading manufacturing state in the country per capita. I was governor of the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
We brought 12,000 factories back to America during our administration. I know something about manufacturing.
Do you?
And I got to tell you, while
doctor needs to check out
while
his
the union bosses are talking about class warfare and talking about disparity in wages, I have to tell you, I really believe what's driving that is Bidenomics has failed. Wages are not keeping up with inflation. Auto workers and all American workers are feeling it, and families are struggling in this economy. And Joe Biden's Green New Deal agenda is good for Beijing and bad for Detroit. We ought to repeal the Green New Deal, get rid of the mandates and subsidies that are driving American gasoline automotive manufacturing into the graveyard. And beyond that also, as President of the United States, I'll be standing with workers all across America, and I'll be standing for the right to work of every American to join.
Thank you, Mike. Actually, you said too much. Should have stopped at about 5 seconds into the clip. He does think he's profound, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's a loud mouth breather.
Oh, man. 888-900-3393. More coming up in just a minute.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Got some tweets here. Bad engineer tweets. Whoa, are you allowed to play clips this time?
Yeah, that was weird.
Because last time Fox News had a 3-minute time limit total. You could play 3 minutes worth of clips combined. So, yeah, and then you could only do that for a few days and then never again. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so I guess it's different. I didn't see any of those restrictions this time from Fox Business.
Weird.
Carol Remarks tweets, they didn't let Vivek talk and explain because he has a good answer. They don't want to hear that. Yeah.
He is definitely smooth and good in this format.
And I keep hearing,
you know what? He's too smooth. I don't like how eloquent he is.
okay, wait. You'd rather have like a Joe Biden type stumbling around, somebody who doesn't have half the intelligence of a bathroom bolt brush? I don't understand he's too good. Well,
no,
you're gonna penalize him for that?
No, they'd rather have the fun wit and charm of a Chris Christie prepackaged line.
Oh my gosh.
He should have brought his own canned laughter for that.
He should have.
And held it up to the microphone, the studio audience laughing at his little Donald Duck line.
I just would ask, say what you will, again, about Vivek, but he's well-spoken. Let's not penalize him for being a good speaker. That's a plus in my book. How is that not a plus? Very strange. I mean, he may not be the guy. He might have too many ties to China. I don't know. Couldn't get the answer because he got cut off by Tim Scott and Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, and everybody's screaming at the same time. Who knows?
Tim Scott, can I just say,
sucks.
I swear, bro, you have still not read up on the Florida education law.
Right.
He's still using that line about racism or slavery wasn't good, Governor DeSantis. Stop using the left's talking points. However, kudos, though, to Nikki Haley. I want to give her credit on something. The last debate, she showed up in a bathrobe. This debate, she showed up in her silk PJs. So she's making progress with the wardrobe.
Okay. More BS tweets. I'd just like to thank you guys for suffering through the cluster debate last night.
I don't know about next time. I don't know.
All I can think about when I hear Nikki Haley is Hillary Clinton as well. Yeah, that was hell on TV. There's no other way to put it. It was a terrible debate. It was an absolutely awful debate. Maybe the worst I've ever seen. I mean, I sat there watching this with my mouth agape, and I kept thinking of Keith. Mr. President, close your mouth. I kept thinking, I need to close my mouth. This is unsightly, but fortunately there was no one else around.
Yeah. And by the way, I did learn the new formula for making it through this kind of debate, and it's be sure to watch a sporting event at the same time.
Oh.
So, the Braves had a great comeback in 10 innings. I was able to watch that simultaneously. Otherwise, there's no way in hell I would have kept this thing on.
No, it was really hard. I almost quit, like half an hour into it. But I thought, no, I got to stick it out.
So you were half an hour into it. And so at that point, Ron DeSantis had answered one question?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Did you see the pro-Ukrainian financing ad?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I saw that. I don't know.
It was...
I went to the bathroom when it happened.
Gross.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What were they saying?
Oh, it was...
That we've spent virtually nothing on them? Is that what it is?
How important it is to fight over there. And they made it sound like they admitted we spent 5% of our budget...
Of our defense
budget on Ukraine, and like that was a bargain, like that was a low thing to do that. And then
that's a lot.
What was the other thing? Oh, it was like imploring Republican leaders to don't stop funding this war in Ukraine. Oh my word! Yeah, it was rough.
Jeez.
Oh, you have the ad? Oh, we'll have to play that. So you want it now, or
yeah, let's do it now.
Is it just
since we're talking about
audio,
it.
When America arms Ukraine, we get a lot for a little. Putin is an enemy of America. We've used 5% of our defense budget to arm Ukraine, and with it, they've destroyed 50% of Putin's army. We've done all this by sending weapons from storage, not our troops. The more Ukraine weakens Russia, the more it also weakens Russia's closest ally, China. America needs to stand strong against our enemies. That's why Republicans in Congress must continue to support Ukraine.
No. How about no?
How are you going to...
Jeez, that's crazy. CJP tweets, instead of the debates, can we just have an old-timey WWF cage match for the winner? And since Sleepy Joe loves muscles so much, he can arm wrestle the winner. Simple fix to our elections. Sadly, only half snarky. Yeah.
Boy.
That's not a bad idea, really.
You get Joe into a ring, he's going to be checking out his opponent's biceps the whole time. He'll be distracted.
Mm-hmm. He sure is.
Oh, gosh. What timeline are we on?
I don't know.
Loki, fix this.
We got Ron DeSantis last night talking about pro-choice voters and how he's going to win them over.
Okay.
Here's
how are you going to win over independent pro-choice voters in Arizona?
Same way we did in Florida. We won the greatest Republican victory in a governor's race in the history of the state, over 1.5 million votes. We were winning places like Miami-Dade County, Palm Beach, that nobody thought was possible because we were leading with purpose and conviction. I reject this idea that pro-lifers are to blame for midterm defeats. I think there's other reasons for that. The former president, he's missing in action tonight. He's had a lot to say about that. He should be here explaining his comments.
That's exactly what I was
trying to
thinking.
say that pro-life protections are somehow a terrible thing. I want him to look into the eyes and tell people who've been fighting this fight for a long time. My wife and I earlier today were at the gravesite of President and Mrs. Reagan, and I noticed that there was a quote where it says, every single person has purpose and worth. We're better off when everybody counts. And I think we should stand for what we believe in. I think we should hold the Democrats accountable for their extremism, supporting abortion all the way up until the moment of birth. That is infanticide, and that is wrong.
Right.
Yeah. And if Trump had been on the stage, he would have looked over and said, DeSanctis.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he would have started it. And this is a quote from a recent interview he gave. He did the 6-week thing. If you notice, his numbers started going down before that, but they started to really crash when he did that. Protect life after the heartbeat. Because most people, that's not acceptable to. You have to win elections. That's a Donald Trump quote. That's what he would have said on the stage last night, had he bothered to show up and speak to us.
But of course he didn't. Nikki Haley attacked DeSantis for banning fracking, though. Here's that.
This is interesting.
The first thing I'll say is what I saw at the United Nations is energy security is national security. We need a president that understands we have to partner with our producers and make sure that we have their backs. What you don't need is a president who is against energy independence. Ron DeSantis is against fracking. He's against drilling. He's been against. You did it. He always talks about what happens on day one. You better watch out because what happens on day two is when you're in trouble. Day two in Florida, you banned fracking, you banned offshore drilling, you did it on federal lands, and you took green subsidies that you didn't have to take.
Governor DeSantis, you were mentioned. You have the right to respond. 30 seconds.
Yeah. I just did a plan out in West Texas for American energy dominance. We're going to choose Midland over Moscow. We're going to choose the Marcellus over the Mullahs, and we're going to choose Bakken over Beijing, and we are going to lower your gas prices. We are going to get that job done because it's important for our national security, it's important for jobs, and that's one of the best ways to drive down inflation.
Yeah, but did you ban fracking?
Governor DeSantis,
let me answer that because this is ridiculous.
DeSantis, this question is for you.
Our voters enacted a constitutional
You banned it before they voted.
No, it's not true.
You banned it before they voted, and not only that, fracking wasn't. They didn't vote on fracking.
She's just totally wrong. They voted it in. That's what we did. Onshore, we do it in Florida. We don't have as much as maybe West Texas, but we do it. But that was a constitutional. So that's just wrong. And let's just get real here. My plan will get the job done. We are going to be energy dominant, and that's what's going to happen.
And the voters didn't even vote on fracking, and you banned fracking.
Oh, gosh.
So what's the truth on that?
Okay, so I looked this up because that piqued my curiosity because that's a no-no for me. While DeSantis pledged in his 2018 gubernatorial campaign to ban offshore fracking and drilling in Florida and directed the state's Department of...
Why would he do that?
Right. I don't know what the temperature of the room was in Florida, but it sounds like a political stance there. But yeah, but he was seeking an end to all fracking.
Wow.
But it was voters who outlawed the practice. Something he attempted to intimate during the debate.
So he didn't do it, but he wanted to.
He planned to. So she's right, but then the Then she just kept going on. But yeah, it was something.
I don't know why you would ban fracking.
It sounds like something that he would have absolutely done had the voters not.
Yeah, why?
Not good.
No,
I mean, I just called RFK out for that on Twitter. I'm like,
that's not good.
I found these old tweets of his and on his own campaign website, not to get distracted here by RFK, but RFK is like, I'll ban fracking. I won't, I don't know. He doesn't want energy from hostile nations. He wants to shut down Keystone. He would have shut down Keystone. This was an old tweet of his or whatever. And it's like, okay, so what do I put in my car, RFK? You know,
sunshine.
It's sunshine.
Put sunshine.
You
in
put
your car.
sunshine in my car.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, that's a weird,
it is weird
stance for DeSantis, and I don't like that at all. That you would even consider that, regardless of the mechanism that puts it in place.
Fracking saved our butts in the 20 teens. Completely saved us.
That's how we did an end around over Obama's energy policies.
Right.
Texas said, "Oh yeah, check out this." Whatever, man. This again. What timeline are we on? Makes no sense.
And then Nikki Haley talked about the border crisis.
Oh, good.
Governor Haley, most illegal immigrants are coming from countries south of the border. You've seen the Fox News drone. It's captured this steady stream of people coming into the country on a daily basis. In fact, I believe we have a live picture of it tonight. That is happening right now.
It's not a drone.
Live.
It's a light post.
In the last decade, the U.S. has spent nearly $55 billion to address the root causes of migration. But crime, poverty, and corruption, they persist, and the number of migrants is only growing. Are we wasting our money?
Well, what happens is when Joe Biden waved the green flag, it told everybody to come. And now we've seen 6 million people cross the border. We've had more fentanyl that have killed Americans in the Iraq, Vietnam, or Afghanistan wars combined. We need to make sure that we are a country of laws. The second we stop being a country of laws, we give up everything this country was founded on. So we have to secure the border. The way we do that is, first of all, defund sanctuary cities. You see what's happening in Philadelphia right now. It's got to stop. We need to make sure we put 25,000 more Border Patrol and ICE agents on the ground and let them do their job. I spent 400 miles down that border, and I'm telling you, Border Patrol agents aren't allowed to do their job. Let's go back to remain in Mexico policy. Instead of catch and release, let's go to catch and deport.
What about what about the aid that federal taxpayers are paying to deal with the root causes? It's not working?
The only aid that we should be spending right now is to secure the border, the southern border, the northern border, period.
You would cut off
we need
aid
to
to the
keep
region?
Americans safe, and right now Americans are not safe. Only when we fix the immigration system, only when we get the border secure, should we ever look at putting any more money into this. Our money should be about keeping Americans safe. We're not doing that. Joe Biden's not doing that. And you mentioned Congress and shutting down government. I'll make it clear. We have to change the budget process. In 4 years, in 40 years, Congress has only delivered a budget on time 4 times in 40 years. If they don't keep the government open, they should not get paid. No pay, no budget.
Oh, you messed up your line. Sorry, Nikki.
No budget, no pay.
Right.
Is where she should have gone with that.
And by the way, the last debate, Nikki Haley and then Ron DeSantis, this debate, kudos to any time a Republican calls out spending in their own party.
Yeah. Because both parties are a problem on
sir.
this. Skip down, if we could, Joe, to Ramaswamy. Vivek talking about birthright citizenship. He's the only candidate I've heard that has brought up this issue, and I've been saying this for decades.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Stop birthright citizenship. Here's what Vivek had to say.
I favor ending birthright citizenship for the kids of illegal immigrants in this country.
Good.
Now, the left will howl about the Constitution and the 14th Amendment.
Okay.
The difference between me and them is I've actually read the 14th Amendment.
Nice.
What it says is that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the laws and jurisdiction thereof are citizens. So nobody believes that the kid of a Mexican diplomat in this country enjoys birthright citizenship. Not a judge or legal scholar in this country will disagree with me on that. Well, if the kid of a Mexican diplomat doesn't enjoy birthright citizenship, then neither does the kid of an illegal migrant who broke the law to come here. And as the father of 2 sons, it is hard for me to look them in the eye and say, you have to follow the law when our own government fails to follow its own laws. That's how we really go the the distance and solve this problem and restore the rule of law in the United States of America, because that is part of what it even means to be an American.
Yep. Hear, hear. That's good stuff. Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. I mean, again, I don't know about the Chinese thing. I'd love to hear his explanation on that. What's our update on Vivek Ramaswamy coming on the air?
I did email them 2 days ago, told them, hey, I know you guys are busy with the debate. Next week, we have a full, wide open calendar for you.
Yeah.
Please let me know.
We can slot you in pretty much anywhere.
Anywhere.
And nothing so far.
Well, they had a debate, so they probably saw.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll see. But I really love his stand on the border. He's probably stronger on the border than anybody else I've heard. There it is. And there's my tweet about it right there, which tells you everything you need to know.
Say what you will about Vic. He rocked.
He rocked the immigration answer. And I think he did. But he got crap on pretty much everything else. They all seem to be unanimous on stage. The other 6 are pretty united against Vivek. Nobody on that stage likes him. And that's obvious. I mean, Tim Scott and Nikki Haley, I don't know what's going on with those two, but they don't dig Vivek. And I don't dig them, frankly. I really don't like Tim Scott. I really don't like Nikki Haley.
Okay.
So,
how about Chris Christie? You're a big Chris Christie guy?
Really don't like Chris Christie.
He's a big Chris Christie guy. Mike Pence?
No, don't like Mike Pence.
Okay. So who's that leave on the stage?
Doug Burgum?
Burgum, DeSantis, and who's left?
Kind of neutral on Burgum. He doesn't have a chance to win, so I don't really care much about him.
Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy. It's between, for me, it's Ramaswamy, DeSantis, Trump.
And Burgum.
No.
Wow.
No.
No Burgumentum for you.
No Burgumentum for me. No. I think I pretty well made my choice about Doug, and that's a solid no.
I'm thinking about not voting in 2024.
Are you?
Yeah. That way I can't be blamed for whatever crap fest we have on the other side of the election. Kind of where I'm at. Because, I mean, I'm sorry, kids. Kids, your vote totally matters. Be a part of the system that our forefathers set up.
Our democracy.
Yeah, get out there and vote, because
be part of our democracy.
You have a voice, and it matters. It'll be counted.
Not too cynical, is he? Not too cynical. 888-933-93. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Got some tweets here. Kevin Thompson tweets, as a Leo, we're beginning to see EVs stolen simply for the batteries. These are broken down and sold as metals to scrappers. Okay.
As
a Leo?
L-E-O.
L-E-O.
Is it capitalized?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a L-E-O.
Okay, well, it's not a Leo. I mean, that would be an astrological sign.
Right.
I don't know that...
I don't think that's what he's referring
Context clues, right? Law enforcement officer. Thank you, Chris.
Okay. All right. As a law enforcement officer. I see.
Yeah.
Baby SEAL outfitters. So the U.S. government has not murdered their own citizens, Chris? Idaho and Tennessee ring a bell.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, we could do this all day.
Yeah, we could.
Let's talk about Ruby Ridge. We could do this all freaking day.
Waco?
Come on now.
The Banana Republic of America? How about Chris Christie goes after the New Jersey Senate seat, currently held by Bob Menendez, and I wonder how the mainstream media will view him. I bet not too well.
Yeah, I would love to see Chris Christie run in that state that chased him out when he got done with 15% approval.
Yeah, that'd be
good luck with that
interesting,
campaign.
John C. Garcia, I think Chris Christie continues to appear on these debates so he can look like a Republican on CNN. Fetterman's fall fashionable hoodie collection. I want to live in a nation that believes in self-preservation. Yeah, me too. Pat's used F-35 sales. The last clean, articulate, good-looking, bright storybook guy we got turned out to be less of a storybook and more of a horror story. Maybe that's what is concerning people with Vivek. Okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Possibly.
Absolutely.
Caffeinated Texan, I don't think I could handle 4 years of Nikki's voice. I thought listening to Zombie Joe was torturous. I know. I know. It's painful.
And I want it clear. I have nothing against Nikki Haley, the person. Like I mentioned before, she was hanging out here waiting for an interview once, and I had a good conversation with her. She seems like a perfectly nice person. Just cannot imagine you as president. I'm sorry. I'm over fighting overseas, being involved everywhere.
Yep. Moderating on abortion.
Right. It's just no.
No, thank you.
No.
Mm-mm. All right. So we mentioned several times the Vivek answer where he's trying to explain himself on China and his business that he opened in China. And he says he got out of there quickly or whatever. And there seemed to be some contention there between. And then everybody was just talking over each other. Here's how that sounded. It was really a terrific moment on television.
Immigration. I'll go one step further, though. When we have a conversation about the things that are happening on this stage, we think about the fact that Vivek just said we were all good people, and I appreciate that because last debate he said we were all bought and paid for. And I thought about that for a little while and said, you know, I can't imagine how you could say that knowing that you were just in business with the Chinese Communist Party and the same people that funded Hunter Biden millions of dollars was a partner of yours as well.
That's true.
Nonsense.
So look, I want to respond. These are good people who are tainted by a broken system, and it's not the fault of anybody who's involved.
Some of us are tainted.
Excuse me. Thank you for speaking while I'm interrupting. While I'm speaking.
You said
if I may finish.
You can't be on both sides.
Gentlemen, you'll have your turn.
One of the challenges.
So listen up. Please focus on the issues that matter.
This is how horrible this is.
Business in China. Everybody knows that.
If I may address,
focus on holding
you got
Joe
DeSantis
Biden
in there,
accountable.
Tim Scott, Vivek.
I actually agree with Ron DeSantis.
Everybody speaking at the same time.
Nikki Haley.
Exactly.
No,
so
that was what's her
I
face?
agree with Ron DeSantis on China.
Wow. I mean, that's just
like if you're an independent voter and you are literally like just the unicorn, have no leanings one way or the other, and you tune into that debate.
You're done with all of them.
Are you even considering anybody up there?
I don't think so.
Just based on that,
I don't think so.
Insanity.
Jeez. Then we were wondering about the Ron DeSantis thing and why, what his deal was on fracking. On January 10th, 2019, 2 days before being sworn into office, he signed an executive order directing the DEP to take necessary actions to adamantly oppose all offshore oil and gas activities off every coast in Florida and hydraulic fracking in Florida. Wow.
I have a question.
It meant new oil and gas permits had to include provisions forbidding the use of fracking, but pre-approved fracking still occurred.
Hey, quick question. How do you sign an executive order before you're sworn into office?
Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering.
That's weird.
Myself,
people have been messaging me that offshore drilling is very unpopular in Florida. So
I'm sure it is.
It
is in California too. Nobody wants to see the drilling rigs out there when they're at the beach. Nobody wants to see that. But usually they're so far offshore that you can't see it anyway. So I don't know. I don't live in Florida. I live in Texas, where Texans will drill in their backyard if it'll get us more oil. So I don't know.
And boy, that beach down at Galveston is pristine and beautiful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And the water, crystal brown. Crystal brown. It's lovely.
Brown persuasion.
So
it's not pretty.
It's not.
It's not. I'm not saying that they're connected, the two, but
they're not connected.
No,
they're not. It's just dirty water down there for some reason. It's more mud than it is water, really. The Gulf is beautiful, though. Don't get me wrong. The Gulf Coast in Texas is absolutely beautiful. There are places where it is. Like if you went to
South Padre Island, maybe?
Yeah.
I've never been down there.
And parts of Florida.
Oh, you're talking about Florida? Yeah.
Yeah. Parts of Florida are beautiful.
Gorgeous, yes.
Even on the Gulf Coast. So,
have you ever been to the beach
Panama City's good.
in Mississippi? or Louisiana.
I've driven past it.
Yeah, that's good. That's some good stuff down there.
Yeah.
Take the family.
Now, is all that going to close? If we have a government shutdown, will everything stop? Will they close the beaches and the parks? And nobody will get their payments for Social Security, and Medicare and Medicaid are going to dry up and all of that? I mean, the panic continues on that. Even though the Senate passed a bill, right? They passed a continuing resolution.
Yeah, but didn't McCarthy say that he's not bringing that one to the House? Yeah. So
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, I hope Saturday night comes and we are partying that there is no federal government in operation. Let's go and don't come back. Oh, I know. This is like my dream.
I know. Well, here's what happens during shutdowns. Many federal employees are told not to report for work, even though under a 2019 law they still get paid retroactively when the shutdown ends. So, depending on how long the shutdown occurs, that could be troublesome for government employees. Those who provide what are deemed essential services, like air traffic control, law enforcement, they continue to work, but don't get paid until Congress takes action to end the shutdown. So, that applies only to the roughly 25% of federal spending subject to the annual appropriation by Congress. Benefits like Social Security and Medicare continue to flow because they're authorized by Congress in laws that do not need annual approval. So again, you're still going to get your benefits. Shutdowns can be disruptive. They can lead to delays in processing applications for passports. Oh, no.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
okay, hold on. Now I'm rethinking this.
I know. Small business loans, government benefits. Shuttered visitor centers.
Wait a minute.
That's too much to take. That's too much.
Shuttered visitor centers?
Yeah. If national park visitor centers aren't open, I don't know if I can function. In fact, I'm sure I can't. I can't do it.
What's the ranger going to do all day?
Bathrooms at national parks might close. Oh, no. No.
I'd like to point out that even when they're open, they... What's the difference, man? It's gross.
So it's what we've been telling you all along. The essential things still happen. There might be some inconveniences, but is that a big deal? No. Well, unless you're a federal employee, then of course it is. Yes.
That what you just said about the bathrooms at the national parks, that kind of says that the parks are open then. Just don't expect us to unlock the bathroom door.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
You might have to go potty in the forest if the bathrooms are closed.
Okay.
So there you go.
I'm not worried about the government shutting down.
I'm not either. And
if you're a federal employee, I'm sorry, but
they act like it's catastrophic. The left will have you believe that, oh my gosh, all hell breaks loose if we shut down for 15 minutes, it's too much. We can't take it. Jeez.
The left is really trying to get this hashtag to stick. Hashtag GOP Shutdown.
Oh, man.
Okay. What? I don't care. Gosh. I don't care what you label it. Call it a GOP shutdown.
Who cares?
Call it a Keith shutdown. I don't care. I just want it to shut down and stay shut down.
And it looks like it might.
Good.
I mean, they've got 2 days here. They've got today and tomorrow, really. And
I'm serious. What did we pass like a year ago that was supposed to take us through?
It wasn't even a year ago.
Right. It was when McCarthy became the speaker.
Yeah. It was like January, right?
Right.
And it was when they switched the whole gavel thing. Yeah, that's when it happened.
Yeah. And that was supposed to take us
to
2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the next election.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
Ukraine.
Because they're spending too much.
Yeah, they're sending everything to Ukraine. Why. They're like, oh, we didn't budget right. Sorry, our bad. I don't understand this. Ugh.
And then yesterday, Pete Buttigieg accidentally described Joe Biden's failure at the border. Well, that's kind of interesting.
We see a repeated pattern here, which is creating a problem or contributing to a problem, and then trying to score points off of that same problem. We see it at the border.
So you're
wait, what?
You're he's admitting, the border sucks.
Yeah.
See? And he did the same thing with the EV thing. I don't think I sent that clip. Yeah. He just whatever.
Incredible. In 2022 alone, the United States encountered the highest number ever recorded of illegal immigrants at the U.S. southern border. It represented a 200% increase. 200% increase from Donald Trump's last year in office. And they keep saying that it was his problem that they encountered. No. He had the lowest numbers in 40 years. The lowest rate of illegals crossing our border during Trump, lowest level in 40 years. Under Biden, the opposite. We've seen the highest rate of illegals crossing the border in over 60 years. So there is a problem here, and it's not what they inherited. It's a problem of their creation. And they want you to think that they're dealing with it the best they can because Trump left us this mess. But no, nothing could be further from the truth. U.S. Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens describes how cartels get rich through the U.S. southern border.
Not just an opportunity, they're profiting off of this. They're profiting because they're charging these migrants to come across. Millions of dollars a week in revenue across each sector on the southwest border, going directly into the hands of those cartels and those smugglers. Added to that, they're using this as a distraction to pull us off of task so they can cross other things like the narcotics.
Right, oh boy.
Well, when you think that they get $7,000 to $15,000 per illegal that they help cross, that's a lot of money. That adds up.
Somebody's economy is getting stimulated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The stinking cartel's economy is being stimulated. And then, not to mention, obviously the fentanyl that everybody's talking about now that's coming across the border. A reporter discussed the border with Hank Johnson. I bet this is fun.
People are breaking the rules, paying a criminal organization to do so to get to the front of the line. Does that concern you?
Have you ever been to the border before to see what's happening?
Yes, I have. I've spent a lot of time at the border, yeah.
You didn't talk with the right people, apparently, because your information, your questions based on, your questions are kind of off base.
In what way?
Hot take, Hank.
Yeah. In what way?
We literally just played the Border Patrol guy telling us this. Is he not a good source? Hank?
And you've got more people crossing the border than we have at any time in the past 60 plus years. And your take is a little bit flawed.
That's good. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good Hank Johnson.
I'm here all week.
Hank, I got a question for you, Congressman. What if we took all of the illegals and put them on Guam?
I worry that there'd be so many people that Guam could tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that. This guy, I swear.
He's the best.
He is.
He's the
he
best.
Is a pile of suck.
And here's the real thing.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Here's the response.
We don't anticipate that.
My favorite response to anybody's stupidity. We don't anticipate that.
Hank makes me laugh.
Only because it can't happen, though. That's the only reason you're not anticipating it. So, oh, man.
He's a good one.
All right. Picture for a moment, as we've already discussed this morning, the global medication supply, the supply chain of antibiotics drying up, China cutting us off. Could that happen? Oh, you bet it could. And you want to be prepared for that. We've already had some shortages. We've already had interruptions in the supply chain. So plan for the future. Plan for any eventuality. The Jace case is a great way to be prepared. The Jace case from Jace Medical. It has 5 different courses of antibiotics that you can use to treat all kinds of bacterial illnesses. This would be great, too, if we're not even having supply chain problems, but you're out of the state and you don't have your normal pharmacy and your doctor, and it's really hard to get, drugs and medication in a different state. So if you have this with you, you don't have to worry about things like infections, sinusitis, respiratory infections, UTIs, all of those things. You can take care of them. Don't get caught unprepared. Go to jacemedical.com. Enter the promo code PAT to save big at checkout. That's promo code PAT at JASE jacemedical.com.
Pat Gray. Join the conversation. 888-900-3393. Pat Gray Unleashed. We'll be right back.
Some tweets here. Linda Hofer tweets, glad I have a mute button on my TV remote. Ryan O. DeSantis only wanted to ban fracking off Florida's coast because of the geological makeup of limestone and shallow waters. It would be physically dangerous for the state, but approves it elsewhere. Okay. Squatching duck. The water off the Gulf beaches in Galveston and Mississippi and Louisiana look great about half the time.
Oh, okay.
Nighttime.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's
pretty accurate. Yeah, sure that's accurate. Yeah. Frugal father. The candidates should ask Democrats if they lock their homes. It's a similar concept to, I don't know, closing the border. Closing the border! Try it. Yeah, just try that, would you please? Hamish McGeorge, I'm so sick of these war hawks. Their purposes are to make money, launder money, and distract from their crimes, and delay the election. September imbruliarchy.
Love it.
Maybe the cartels in Ukraine can bail us out so we can avoid a government shutdown. How about that? Yeah, no, nobody ever helps us. It's a one-way street here. American aid is a one-way street.
Amen.
Lori Jeffries, I'm all for a shutdown, but service members will go without pay as well. We can handle it, but many cannot. It is immoral that Congress is paid and we are not. That is for sure.
Wow, that's not good.
Pedo L. Peters.
Oh, pedo.
Pedo, not pedo.
Yeah, that's one of the handles that Joe Biden
L.
goes
Peters. Yeah. During a government shutdown, the national parks are unmanned and there are no entry fees. Oh, wow. Okay.
So why did I buy that
They're
pass?
free, man.
Thank
They're free.
you.
Why I bought a pass, a yearly pass, for my son and I to go and enjoy this country before it's completely destroyed. And one of the parks we went to Arches, right, in Moab, in Utah, and they were like, "Oh, it's a free day." Well, why the hell did I buy a pass? And
why was it a free day?
I don't know. I don't know. And so.
Nice.
I bought this pass, and it's nowhere near making up for its cost. And now I feel like such an idiot. I'm like, I gotta go see some stuff.
Yeah.
So now in October, when I go see some stuff, am I gonna have to not pay? Like, no, someone check this pass. I paid for this pass. So anyway, we'll see.
Demand that they charge a fee.
You open up the government to check my pass.
There was more immigration talk yesterday. Democrat Representative Madeline Dean was asked about the border, too, like everybody else. And here's what Madeline said.
At what point does this become an invasion of our country?
Well, I would never use that word. Not an invasion. This is not some pests. These are human beings, and that's the way they need to be treated.
They refuse to call it an invasion. I don't know how else you would describe what we are going through.
Yeah, we know they're human beings. Human beings can invade, and they are invading. These Democrats are the worst. They're just the worst. Republican Congressman Byron Donalds discusses how to avoid a government shutdown.
Oh.
Because that's what we're so concerned about.
You continue spending. You have $6.2 billion for Ukraine. They do nothing to secure our southern border.
Right.
That is just a non-starter. The Senate needs to get real. You've all seen the images at the southern border. It has to stop immediately. And this government should not continue to be funded if we don't secure our border.
Thank you. Thank you. Good stuff.
The man who should be Speaker of the House.
Yeah. Oh, man. Wouldn't that be something? That would be something. And while out of control, the southern border is causing the elderly to be kicked out of nursing homes.
This is enraging.
In New York, a 95-year-old Korean war vet, Frank Tomorrow.
It was very disgraceful what they did to the people in Island Shores. They gave us time to get out, but they never said when, and they never said they were going to get us out. And then one day, there's a thing on the board, a notice on the board, you gotta be out by March 15th. I think that gave us like a month and a half to find out where we're gonna go. I thought my suitcases were gonna be on the curb because I'm not that fast. If it wasn't for my daughter, they would have been on the curb. But that's what it happened, and that was it. I said, no, you're not moving me. And they said, yes, we are. And everything was done behind closed doors. Yeah. And we didn't have a chance to actually make any attempt to stop them because there wasn't enough time.
My gosh.
How enraging.
Moved out because of illegal aliens.
Forced out.
We've got to move illegal aliens in. So beat it. Hey, thanks for your service. Get out. Incredible.
It's enraging.
Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. You would never think that this country would do this to our war veterans.
And the spin is,
wow,
this is Greg Abbott's fault. He shouldn't have been sending all those illegals to New York, and then we wouldn't have to kick veterans out of their home.
Unbelievable. Oh, my gosh.
There are no words left
really
to describe this nation.
Wow. Makes you proud, doesn't it? Proud to be an American?
Well, no, finish the line. No, let's hear it.
Where you're free to leave the nursing home so we can bring in some illegal aliens.
That lyric needs some working.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It doesn't really flow right off the tongue very well.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Yesterday, Joe Biden was at an event where he was babbling about doctors or something. You tell me what he's talking about here.
And it varies. Think about it. I say the public may be listening. Think about whether or not who you go to and how much you trust that doc is going to impact on whether you follow the instructions. I mean it. It's very basic human nature elements. And that's why having people from, quote, the neighborhood makes a big difference, I think.
What? What?
I love his qualifier at the beginning. You know, the public may be listening right now. Yeah, you're the president of the United States.
They might. There's a chance. There's an outside chance that others may hear this. Weird.
Corpse in chief.
Yeah, absolutely. And he literally forgot the name of COVID, apparently.
And one of those areas, you saw what happened with regard to the crisis, health crisis we had that lost well over 1 million people.
Yep, had no idea.
It's called COVID, bro.
Yeah, he had no idea. The health crisis where people didn't, they got some kind of sickness and we had a vaccine for it and it didn't work and people got it anyway.
Hang on now. In fairness, the man is really, really old.
Yeah.
He could be talking about the flu from over 100 years ago.
He could, right?
Spanish he might even, he might be talking about the Black Plague for all we know.
You never know.
He's been around, so he's got a lot of points of reference. He could
killed half of the people in Europe, and he was there at the time. So,
and he was at all the school shootings too.
Every one of them.
This guy.
Yeah, he said so. He said he's been to all the school shootings.
Prime
suspect.
Just
kind of weird. Yeah, and he's from Baltimore, Maryland, just like the Prime Minister of the Cook Islands, who is also
that is weird. That's a
not
strange
from Baltimore. It is weird
connection there.
Yeah, it is. It's strange, but that creates once you're both from Baltimore, that creates a connection,
right?
That lasts forever. You know what I mean?
Dare I call it synergy?
Yeah, it supersedes this life. It travels with you right into death. You still have that connection no matter what. It's eternal. It's an eternal Baltimore connection. So that's why he brought it up. It's complicated. Yeah, it's so complicated, in fact, that neither one of them have any tie to Baltimore, and yet they're both from there.
Wow.
That is a complex situation.
Why are you so hateful?
No, I'm not. I'm just
as the president of the United States.
Trying to let you know how complicated this is.
Is there an American city left, a large American city, that you would feel comfortable walking through in broad daylight, mind you?
No, probably not.
This nation, man.
Yeah, it's in trouble. And, of course, yesterday Biden had to tell us about the time, you probably haven't heard this, when he was hanging out with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Oh, has he done that?
He's done that, apparently,
wow.
quite a bit.
Okay.
I mean, they've traveled together. I don't know if you're aware.
I spent a lot of time with Xi Jinping when I was vice president, and subsequent to that. And he once asked me in the Tibetan Plateau, could I define America for him? And I mean it sincerely, not a joke. I said, yes, one word, possibilities.
Oh, there we go.
We've always believed anything is possible if we set our mind to it.
I thought it was
possibilities.
I thought it was a foothill of Himalaya. Wait a minute. You can't change your story now, old man. So wait, which word was it? Was it possibility or foothills of Himalaya?
And I said,
wait a minute.
I could define America in one word. The foothills of the Himalayas.
Wait a minute. Not only did he change the word on us, he changed his story, which I know is a shocker. It was foothills of the Himalayas. Now it's on a plateau.
Oh. Was it foothills before?
Yeah.
I'm looking for that.
I mean, well, that was the word.
Where is that?
It's not worth it.
Got that somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not worth it. He sucks in so many ways.
Oh, so bad.
He just sucks.
He is so
It
so
hurts
bad.
me physically
how
much this man sucks.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes. And the heat continues to be turned up between Joe and Hunter and their ties to China. So let's flash back to the 2020 debates and what Joe said about all that stuff back then.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had, the only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
Well, that's not true.
What do you call it?
Let me say.
What do you call it? China? What is it? Gosh. I can't. This guy.
All right, do you have him from the foothills of the Himalayas? Because it's not
that can be defined in a single word. I was in the the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
Right, with Xi Jinping.
Traveling with him. We traveled 17,000 miles when I was vice president.
He left that part out, too. He left the 17,000-mile thing out. Huh. Yeah, so now it's not the foothills. You're right. That was a good pickup on that, Keith. It's now the plateau, the Tibetan Plateau. Okay.
And now it's possibility.
Now it's possibility.
I liked it better when the one word to describe America was the Himalayas.
I know.
That was more fun.
Those
were good times.
Speaking of China, kudos to Senator John Fetterman for taking a stand.
I like it.
Against China owning U.S. farmland.
He's doing better with his teleprompter, too. His little mini.
And let me say, I hope many of our colleagues agree the Chinese government and other U.S. adversaries should own zero agricultural land in our country. I believe that.
I believe that, too.
I mean, they're taking back our pandas. We should take back all their farmland.
Pull it back on the rails here. You had us, and then at the last minute, we went to panda talk.
Taking back our pandas? Yeah. Have we reclaimed our pandas?
No,
that's what given to...
That's what Senator Fetterman is upset about. I mean, he had us. I mean, he was so close to a home run.
You had us at hello.
Can we play
were
this
with
again?
You.
Play this again, because this is fascinating.
And let me say, I hope many of our colleagues agree the Chinese government and other U.S. adversaries should own zero agricultural land in our country.
Right.
I believe that. I mean, they're taking back our pandas. We should take back all their farmland.
They're taking back our pandas. We should take back our farmland.
That moment sounded like a 7-year-old at a school board meeting. I mean, guys, they're taking back our pandas. We should take back their farmland. Who's with me? And did you notice that's a moment he went off script, too?
So I'm going to fact check him. China is taking our pandas.
They are?
They are taking our pandas.
They're taking our pandas?
After
what, from zoos?
From the
stuff?
zoos.
Because we don't really have naturalized pandas here.
After more than 50 years, Washington's pandas are going away.
What?
For good. The zoo's 3 pandas are set to return to China by December with the expiration of the 3-year agreement with China's Wildlife Agency that month. So he is right.
That hurts.
China is taking our pandas.
He is right.
He is right.
He is right.
I mean, they're taking back our pandas, you know.
Right.
You know?
So there you go. That made sense. It actually made sense.
So were they born here in captivity then? Or is that... I mean,
well, that's way too much.
Were they on loan from China?
According to this, we had an agreement with them.
Okay.
But China taking back U.S. panda shows political tension.
But
that's the headline.
Wait a minute. This is all they know, is America. How cruel to send them to a communist nation now.
Are we separating... We're separating panda families now?
Right.
That's not right.
Yeah, I don't
it's just not
care
right.
for that.
I don't care for
take
it
a
at all.
stand. Let's go. I mean, is there going to be a rescue mission like for Elian Gonzalez? Are we gonna helicopter into the Washington Zoo and make sure that the government doesn't?
Well, something's got to be done before December. I know that.
Man,
I know that.
They're taking back our pandas.
The least we can do is take back our farmland. Am I right? Who's with me on that?
I would make that trade. Then I'd say,
For
sorry,
sure.
pandas, you're out.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I would just
you just
really like the 95.
95. You would like to, but will you? I don't know.
Boy, he is so good.
He is good. He really is good. He made sense for almost an entire paragraph there.
Almost.
Not here, but before on the panda thing. So good for him. Do you know that every day Preborn's network of clinics experiences 200 miracles? They save about 200 babies per day. Preborn gives women with unplanned pregnancies a window into their womb. They let them see their unborn baby, and that makes a huge difference. It really does, because these women have been propagandized that that's tissue. Yeah, that's a clump of tissue. You might give birth to broccoli or something. We'll remove it for you. Shows them that that's a human baby. That's life inside of you. And then it doubles the chance that they're going to carry that baby to term and give birth. So this is something you'd never regret doing. $28 can provide one woman with an ultrasound that could save a life. 5 babies can be saved with 5 ultrasounds for $144. So please, if you can, dial pound 250. Say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby to donate. Or you could just go to preborn.com/Pat. That's preborn.com/Pat.
Pat Gray is unleashed.
You know, there's guns everywhere in Texas. Every morning, men here strap guns inside their suits, their boots, even swim trunks. Women slip them into their bras, belly band holsters that render them invisible. They stash firearms in purses, toolboxes, portable gun safes, back seats, and glove compartments. Neighbors tuck guns into bedside tables, cars, and trucks. What I think they're saying here is that we have guns in Texas. It's been legal here to openly carry long guns like rifles for generations. But our gun-friendly attitude isn't just a relic of the Old West. Many restrictions on handguns were loosened only recently. 2 years ago, state lawmakers gave those 21 and older the right to carry handguns without a permit. In 2015, they gave those with concealed handgun permits the right to carry on public college campuses. 2 years earlier than that, Texas lawmakers responded to the Sandy Hook school shooting in Connecticut by allowing public school staff with concealed handgun permits to arm themselves. So you can do that in Texas. I mean, we do like our guns. And this article goes on to say that it's too much. Texans have too much freedom with their handguns, and they're making a big push right now to put a stop to it.
Come and take it.
But, it's because of the prevalence of guns here. That's why when you step outside in Texas, you can't do it without being involved in a shootout somewhere. It just happens all the time.
You weren't supposed to say that on the air, though.
Yeah, I apologize, but I had 4 shootouts yesterday alone. 4.
Is that okay? That explains all the bullet holes in your car this morning. I was going to bring that up.
It also explains all the dead bodies that we see in the streets every day from the gunplay that happens here. It's too much. That's something they never mention is that, everybody's got a gun in Texas, but you don't see a lot of gunplay in the streets.
Yeah, I saw a meme recently that it said something along the lines of, every weekend in America, tens of millions of hunters are out doing their thing, and there are no mass shootings at these gatherings.
Oh, right.
I mean, that's where you're literally surrounded by guys with guns, and there aren't any mass shootings.
And it seems to be okay.
Seems to be working out all right.
Yeah. It might lead some to believe, like if you've got half a brain, it's not the gun. Okay? It's the nutty person who has it that's doing the bad things with the gun. Okay, so maybe we should, concentrate on that? On the root cause of that, perhaps? I mean, is that possible? Could
somebody
do
something?
Jeez. We've got to do something. Yeah. All right. We should probably, since it's been such a heavy-duty day today and so much maddening stuff. I mean, the debate we had to deal with. I had to deal with Joe Biden.
Every day's a heavy day.
Oh,
to deal
man.
with Joe.
Oof. So, some fun stuff, like how often do you think about the Roman Empire? I think about it all the time, don't you?
This is so fun.
Yeah, check this out.
Fun phenomenon.
Do you ever think about the Roman Empire?
All the time.
All the time.
Why? What are you thinking about it?
Well, because we're in those times right now.
Oh.
Everybody's preoccupied with sports, movies, work.
What was it you said about bread?
Well, all right. The common people, the Roman Empire said that everybody was equal. Everybody had a chance. But it wasn't. The rich got richer and the poor got poorer. And they worried constantly about people rioting. Because they knew that the common man, the common people, could take over at any time.
Yeah.
So they would bring them into the Colosseums.
Okay.
And they would give them free grain. They would give them bread. They would give them wine, whatever they needed to fill their bellies and block their minds from what they were angry about. They would watch plays. They would watch fights with the gladiators, sometimes for months on end.
Oh, wow.
And that's where we're at right now. And I think about it all the time. Because so many people are preoccupied with their favorite football team, their favorite actor, actress, singer, and they just don't even think about what's being taken away from them.
Right.
As long as their bellies are full and they're happy with what's going on, they just let it continue.
Well, and there's football on TV, right? I mean...
Yeah, I do take umbrage with that. I mean, don't bring that up, dude. That's hitting too close to home.
It sure is.
Okay. And by the way, if you're going to put a video on the internet, can you aim at the subject that you're recording? I don't need this drift.
And what was the talk in the background, too?
Yeah,
the
and
entire time. Turn down the TV or whatever you got going on. Your radio, your television.
And I appreciated what that guy had to say, but I mean, I was distracted by his tongue.
But I like him. His tongue?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the
constant.
lizard tongue thing.
Yeah, I mean, and Matt Rule, coach of Nebraska, you got to pull that thing in, too. Oh, gosh, those sideline shots are awkward. Anyway, what?
What's he doing with his tongue? Is he?
Constantly. Like, I mean, just...
Is he really?
Yeah, and so, yeah.
Oh, boy.
And I did a search on...
It just becomes a habit, I guess, from some people.
Yeah, and you're afraid to, like, imitate it because you might start doing it. Yeah, right?
Yes.
And so I did a search.
Yes.
It was really bad. Matt Rule's tongue was out of control 2 games ago. And I did a Twitter search, and I have seen a trail of Matt Rule tongue tweets through the years from people watching Baylor play. I think there was a Temple one in there. There were Panther fans talking about it.
Oh,
Matt
man.
Rule, I love you, man, but
This is her first year for Matt Rule, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're 2-2.
Yep.
He's got him at 500 as they head into the game against Michigan.
We got it.
So we'll see.
We don't need any more discussion about it.
I'd say they're 3-2 at the end of the weekend. That's what I'd say.
I can't believe that Michigan's only a 17.5-point favorite. All right? Doesn't that seem low?
Yeah, it does. But the days when
I got it,
17 points isn't enough to be a Nebraska underdog. Oh my gosh!
I don't need this.
Those days are.
I want to focus on Matt Rule's tongue in this segment.
All right,
not our record.
I got this great story too. This is mind-boggling to me. Scientists. Now I'm going to be doing the tongue thing. Scientists have observed antimatter falling downward for the first time ever. Is that? Have you?
This is over my head, man.
No, we could view antimatter. For the first time, scientists have observed antimatter particles, the mysterious twins of the visible matter all around us, falling downward due to the effect of gravity. That happened at Europe's physics lab, CERN. The experiment was hailed as a huge milestone, though most physicists anticipated the result. And it was a result that was predicted by Einstein's 1915 theory of relativity. That guy was kind of smart.
Kind of.
Yeah, he knew some things.
Didn't know where to buy a comb or a brush.
No, he didn't, but he knew some other stuff. It definitively rules out that gravity repels antimatter upwards, a finding that would have upended our fundamental understanding of the universe. About 13.8 billion years ago, wink, wink, the Big Bang is believed to have produced an equal amount of matter, with everything you can see is made out of matter. Mm-hmm. And antimatter, its equal yet opposite counterpart, but we can't find it. However, there's virtually no antimatter in the universe. Isn't that weird? And how do you know that? How do you know that?
You're asking a guy who has trouble with simple division. I don't know that I'm going to be able to help you out much here.
One of the scientists said half the universe is missing. In principle, we could build a universe, everything that we know about, with only antimatter, and it would work in exactly the same way as it does now with the matter. Okay. That's mind-boggling to me. What? How is that possible? Physicists believe that matter and antimatter did meet and almost entirely destroyed each other after the Big Bang. Yet matter now makes up nearly 5% of the universe. Just 5%. The rest is even less understood. Dark matter and dark energy, while antimatter vanished. Well, then how did we see it if it's gone? Well, they created antimatter in the lab.
Wow.
And then figured out a way to freeze it and make it drop. It's so weird. Just amazing. It's like science fiction stuff. It's amazing that they can do that. Another interesting find from scientists, they believe they found Sodom from the Bible. And they said this ancient city that they found was destroyed, but they think it was destroyed by an asteroid. Huh.
That's fascinating.
That's interesting, isn't it? I wonder if an asteroid could be mistaken for brimstone. Or could brimstone be mistaken for an asteroid? I don't know, but this is cool pretty stuff. Amazing because they say it really kind of proves the biblical story true, and most people who aren't, Christians or religious, most people don't believe Sodom happened. Mm-hmm. But the ancient city that met with a fiery end in what can be described as an asteroid impact, more powerful than an atomic explosion, has been identified as the biblical city of Sodom.
Wow.
According to Dr. John Bergsma, he contends that excavations in Jordan provide substantial proof that one of the Bible's most dramatic and improbable narratives may indeed be factual.
So are they digging around there now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see if they find a pile of dudes, banging on a door. Like the skeletal remains of those guys.
Yeah, right. Right.
I mean, if we're gonna be digging, I'd love to see.
Let's find that house. Let's find Lot's house.
Lot's house.
And see if there's a bunch of guys around it.
Just a pile of them, and then right at a door. Wow, that would be impressive.
Be something, wouldn't it?
Hey, do you want to finish story with a joke?
Yeah, okay.
With a fun joke.
Oh
on
yeah,
Australia
you got that
TV?
joke from the kid.
Yeah, but you have to translate
real
it
quick.
Yeah, you have to set up the punchline because it's hard to understand a kid in Australian.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
A vegan and a vegetarian are jumping off a cliff to see who will hit the bottom first. Who wins?
I don't know.
Who wins?
I don't know.
Society.
So a vegan and a vegetarian jump off a cliff to see who gets to the bottom first.
Who wins? Society.
Society!
See, because the vegan and the vegetarian both jumped off the cliff, and so we're all winners in that eventuality.
Have you ever heard the rumor about Marilyn Monroe and Albert Einstein?
No. What?
You should Google that later.
Okay.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.